Warning.
My stomach. What the crap? Enough! I will not have you pooping and farting your corrosive crap on my planet, Hedorah. I want you to go.
Oh, you want me to go away? Well, it's funny you should say that. I do have to go. I've been holding it since we started to battle, and now I found the most perfect of toilets.
Hey, let go of me, you pollution pancake! Gah!
I must have had a bad smokestack or something.
Oh God, it's everywhere! It got in my mouth! Is this acid?
Oh, what a relief! Whatever I had for breakfast, it certainly burns.
We ain't done, you turd tower!
I thought I was done with you. Wait a minute. Are you covered in my dried-up dump?
If I am, I only hope one day Bandai takes advantage and sells figures of me as a variant.
Let me start this video off with a confession. This figure was an unabashed impulse buy. Yes, I must have either been desperate for a new movie monster figure from the Showa era that bad, or just happened to have some extra coin in my pants to take the plunge. Now, when Godzilla 1971 was announced, I sort of laughed to myself because it felt like a shameless cash grab. It was clearly the 1968 Soshengeki figure done up in a lighter gray vinyl. I scoffed at the notion of owning it, as it was not enough to warrant the price. Many, myself included, never seriously considered a Hedorah Goji as a legitimate suit, and the best possible way to represent this movie's costume would to have been to add the wounds Godzilla received in his battle with Hedorah. However, clever eyeballs on many platforms soon pointed out the change in the arm sculpt and the way aspects have been painted differently. I was still resistant because it was still too minimal of a change, says the guy who sought out the 1975 Godzilla vinyl. But then it dawned on me, this meant my Hedorah set was not, in fact, completed. Then I thought about how I missed my shot with both 73 and 75's vinyls, with only recently acquiring the latter. It was at that same moment that Amazon had it up for a very affordable price. I suddenly felt like the Russian sub-captain from Godzilla 1985. I was tempted to do the Versus vinyl with 71 here against 68, but since I already used the latter in a previous Versus feature, I declined to do so. Plus, the idea of vinyl Versus is to determine what I think which of the two figures is the better option. Here, I'll state right out that one is not better than the other, and if you were to choose only one, it would come down to your own preferences, especially regarding colors. Godzilla 1971 is cast in a lighter charcoal gray, unlike his mold mate who sports a darker coal hue. It is the most obvious change from the 68 at first glance, and while I wasn't a fan of this palette initially, it actually made some sense. He looks like he's covered in Hedorah's sickening sludge from that nasty bath he endures, and it has dried out all over his body. Am I reaching? Probably. But it works for me in this case. But it is nice that Bandai took some steps to distance it from the previous release, and it doesn't stop there. The dorsal fins are a light ash white, as are the claws on both hands and feet. Surprisingly absent are the typical light sprays around the sternum line and the knees, leaving this release feeling fairly sparse in color accents. The head gets some significant differences from the 68 version. Whereas the original Soshengeki had an exposed pink inner lip, the 71 does not, and it feels like a choice alteration as both feel accurate and unique at the same time. The teeth are painted very well on 71's take as they were on 68's. And call me crazy, but the eyes positioning feels slightly altered as well. 1968's eyes feel upturned a bit, giving you a glowering stare face on, while 1971's looks to be staring more forward. Sculpt is basically the exact same as the 1968. I would recommend watching my Vinyl Versus video for Godzilla 1968 for those deets. But there is one mold change done with 71 that deserves some attention. His arms are new. The 1968 figure displayed the arms in a standard searching in the dark position. 1971 has the arms leaning towards his specific arm position from Godzilla vs. Hedorah with an almost hand-waving posture, specifically after he mirrors Ken's scrappy fighting gestures or just the beleaguered movements from the end. Subtle, I know, but neat all the same. For me personally, while it is great they did this, would have killed Bandai to further distinguish 71 with a damaged eye and skeletal exposed hand from his contact with Hedorah's toxic touch. Just saying. Absolutely nothing different is done from the previous figure here with Articulation. Legs still move as far around as they possibly can, as do the arms, which can achieve full rotation. But again, here you can emulate those previously mentioned gestures from the film. With Godzilla 1968, the visual colors are the most distinction between the two. Again, look at the applications on the face to really see what I mean. Arms hit you next with slight alterations, and the dorsal plates are painted differently. I think between these two, I still prefer the darker 68, but really both are great representations of the Soshengeki suit. Well, I thought we'd be done with this movie, but it would seem we are not, with the addition of this figure and the upcoming Flying Godzilla that was recently announced. Will it never end? Anyhow, here alongside the many forms of his dangerous foe, Godzilla 1971 fits in nicely. He's still too tall for the perfect stage, but that's a pretty minor gripe considering what we have come to expect with Bandai's consistency. While I love the movie and the monsters associated, I do find it funny that Bandai goes to great lengths to embellish the one film that Tomoyuki Tanaka disliked. We have 4 varying forms of the smog monster, the upcoming Flying Godzilla, and this guy. Who knows? Maybe we'll get the aquatic developed tadpole Hedorah next, and an inevitable battle-scarred Goji, or damaged eye Hedorah. With any regard, this may signal the expansion of more versions of the same suit from each film going forward. It poses a question. Are you the type of collector that only needs one solid representation, or are you a completist who seeks out every variant, taking hits in the wallet? Jet Jaguar isn't the type to take hits. He likes to give them. Four punches. Interesting. In my Soshengeki Vinyl Versus review, the Movie Monster Series 1968 figure was awarded 5 punches. So why does almost the same exact figure get 1 less? Personally, while I think the paint details better, especially in the face, the figure doesn't go its full potential with being the same suit used in 4 films to a specific one among them, only to just change arm positions and overall color palette. This figure feels redundant, even with those slight tweaks. Again, a wounded eye and scarred hand would have bumped this guy up to a 5 punch easily. If you already own the 1968 figure and you are content with that one, this, in my own humble opinion, is an easy pass. Buying this was indeed an impulse buy, and while I like having to round out my Godzilla vs. Hedorah set, I probably wouldn't have regretted not getting it, like I did with the 1975 Godzilla, whose head sculpt changes the figure dramatically. If you don't own the 1968 figure and have been wanting this particular suit incarnation, but you can't afford it, then this is a must-buy. With that being said, Bandai is nearing the end of its most prominent kaiju from the Showa era in terms of vinyl figures. Pretty much most kaiju that have been released from all of those original Godzilla films, with the exception of 64, 65, and 67 Godzillas, 3 versions of 60s Rodan, Mothra larva, and Imago forms, Manda, and Kumonga notwithstanding. Is this Bandai's way of keeping the line alive? Offering slight modifications of older kaiju figures? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you find this to be a shameless cash grab or a legitimate acquisition? Help a brother out, share this video, as well as hit that subscription so you can get notified every time I drop a new review. Thank you for watching. Until next time.